What's going on, guys? You're checking out an all-new The RCWR Show. Lee Sanders here. Thank you guys so much for checking out this episode, coming at you for Tuesday, January 15th, 2019. It is our 2018 Wrestling Year-End Award Show. Yeah, we haven't done this in a while, but this is definitely something we're going to be doing around the same time every single year going forward, with so much variety that's out there on the free agency market with a lot of these promotions. It just kind of, I felt, got to that point where now I can really take a step back and look at some of the greatest and WTF and crappy moments of this past calendar year. So we're definitely going to be having a lot of fun with this. And you know what makes this really cool is a lot of the people that I'm going to be announcing as winners, I've been paying attention to very, very closely. And some of these names you may not agree with, but we can definitely have it be up for discussion. So once this stream is over, definitely share your thoughts, and you can interact with me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords The RCWR Show. By the way, once again, appreciate the followings that we've been having on our Facebook page within the past week. I'm not even doing anything. Normally I put in a little bit of money every couple of months and I try to promote the page, hoping that people will give it a follow. And all of a sudden, it's just been a situation where more and more people have just, I don't know, I guess Facebook is kind of going, well, you know what? Your page is kind of getting a little bit recognized now. We can go ahead and we can recommend it to people since they like so-and-so. I don't know what it is, but I do appreciate those of you that have been checking out the show. I saw we also had picked up a couple of subscribers on a couple of the outlets as far as YouTube and some other outlets. So I do appreciate that. Hope your week has been good so far. We are just reeling over here from some of the snow that had came over here on the East Coast, and over here in the DMV, really depended on where you live. I mean, some parts had saw about 8, 9, 10 inches. When you went to certain parts in Maryland, shoot, about 14. Some parts in Virginia, about 11, 12. So, I mean, it just really depended. But I tell you what, overall, the snowplow trucks, they really had represented it. They did a really fantastic job this year. You know, it was a situation, and it's kind of funny because when it first started off, we didn't really think we were going to be getting, it's not going to be that bad. But it ended up being really, really bad. And I just remember, and this was so funny, I remember my girl had to work. I want to say it was that respected. God, what day was it? What day was it? I want to say it was Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday she had to work. I can't really remember now. But I remember we had got a text message from her mom, and her mom said, hey, if you can avoid going to work, don't go to work. It is really, really bad out there. Don't go, please. Don't go. Just stay in. If you're going to take the metro, do that. But I remember when we had watched the news report, service was suspended, and not like for the entire day, but it was a situation where service was suspended up until a certain time. So I guess you could technically say there was a delay, but then even at that, it was running on a very, very limited schedule. I would imagine they probably had the buses running maybe every 90 minutes instead of the usual every hour or something of that nature. Trains were on a reduced schedule as well. A lot of our stations out here are outdoors, so kind of understandable. It's not really so much in the tunnel and all that. The underground tunnels is mainly all those stations that's outdoors. And so I remember all weekend I have just been shoveling snow, cleaning up the cars, a little bit of the sidewalk all weekend, taking breaks in between. And it just got to that point where I would say Saturday night going into Sunday, the snow really, really had picked up. And I can't remember which day it was, but I said to her, so surely your boss is going to close the office because ain't nobody going to be coming to get the hookup. Like, seriously. And she's like, nah, he really is hell-bent. He really doesn't like closing the office. Well, I guess his wife might have talked to him because finally they went on ahead and made the announcement in a group text message that, no, we're going to have the office be closed today. We'll do a 2-hour delay on Monday, so everybody come on in on Monday. And I'm pretty confident now it was actually Sunday that she was supposed to go in, because I actually remember asking her, now that it's coming back to me, how was the weather on Saturday? And she told me what was going on, because she kind of got a little bit of a break when the snow had stopped in the afternoon, right about the time she got off and everything. But yeah, Sunday was just ridiculous, man. So hopefully wherever you are, everything is on point. I'm a little bit under the weather as a result of doing all that shoveling, so you guys got to forgive me if I came on a little bit late. For those of you that usually check the show out live at 10 p.m., a little bit of a delay, kind of was dragging, honestly. I'm very sorry about that, but I actually was really looking forward to doing this show. I really did not want to take this week off because we have been promising we were going to be doing our 2018 year-end awards. Of course, there's some wrestling topics we'll definitely be getting into, so our wrestling year-end awards, that's going to be coming up later on in the show, so make sure you do stick around for that one. Meantime, look, other than the snow, great weekend as far as NFL. On a side note, can I just say, there were a couple of people that had left comments I had saw, and they were saying, oh, the wrestling talk begins at, and they put a timestamp, and I couldn't help but chuckle at that. And I said, hey man, I said, look, if you like those type of shows that just give you nothing but straight up wrestling, my God, there's like 100,000 of those things that's there. Like, God bless your heart, man. But like, we give you a little bit of everything over here, you know, a little bit of something for everybody. Well, if you're going to be operating like that, you need to, and I can't remember the rest because it was just kind of like, wah, 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 wah. And it's like, dude, you're, first of all, you're watching something that's pre-recorded. And I don't really have any control over folks that's checking out the streams live, right? But 2 and 2 equals 4. Last I checked. So it's okay if you're watching something pre-recorded, you'd see the timestamp when it tells you it was pre-recorded, right? You see the date, you see the time, all that stuff. It's like you have the most powerful button at your disposal, which is a fast forward button. So I kind of looked at that and I'm just going, okay, this guy just wants nothing but the, so I think what I'm going to start doing is just once the stream is over, I think in the comment section, I will just start politely putting in a little timestamp on, okay, look, this is when this had happened. I mean, I do my part as it is. In the synopsis, I tell you in order all the topics that I'm diving into, so you kind of have an idea what to expect. But I just thought that was kind of silly because, I mean, we're in this day and age now where, can you just imagine you're at a convention or whatever and you're talking to somebody, just striking up a conversation, and they go, oh, so what do you do? Oh, I work in blah, 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 and I do a podcast on the side. Oh, what's your podcast about? It's like wrestling. Oh, really? It's just, you can't help but roll your eyes because there's just a gazillion fucking shows that's out there, and everybody's trying to, we're the best, we're the, you notice, we don't brag over here. We just, consistency and quality. That's my whole deal. But anyway, I digress. Look, man, I will be the first to tell you, my Cowboys, hey man, they not in it. And it was so funny because some of my family members and friends, they were rubbing it in my face. Also some of my coworkers, they were rubbing it in my face. It's like, how about them Cowboys? Like, yeah, how about them Cowboys? You know, yeah, they didn't make it. They did not make it past the Rams, but you gotta give them a lot of credit. That second half, they finally had started clicking it together. It finally started to gel. And I tell you, Dak Prescott did a phenomenal job as far as I was concerned. I mean, look, just looking at his stats, I thought he did a really good job. I'm looking at his stats, and yeah, I mean, for me, he did pretty good. 20 completions out of 32 attempts. Did 266 yards, 1 touchdown, had a QBR rating of 108. Again, 108. That is pretty damn good. But what was really most alarming to me when I just go back and I look at the game stats, Rams had the Cowboys beat on the rushing yards. I mean, they really did not focus so much on the passing. They really did a phenomenal job in just the ground game. And they just kept attacking and attacking and attacking and wearing down my Cowboy defense. And I was just amazed at that. And now we learned a couple of days later, now that that game has been over and done with, there's been a couple of D linemen for the Rams that said, well, hey, in anticipation of this matchup, we learned a lot about certain little nicks that they had, certain tendencies that the offensive line had. We learned a little bit of ticks that the defensive line had for the Cowboys, and we did a really good, phenomenal job in using that to our advantage. And for me, I just can't help but say, okay, that's a little bit too soon to be revealing your hand, because if I know your tendencies and I pretty much have an idea of what calls you're probably going to be making, because I'm studying the tape, I'm reading your body language, all that, I'm not going to be so quick after the game is over or the Monday after the game, go on the radio shows or whatever for St. Louis and be bragging about, oh yeah, well, we saw their tendencies and blah, 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 blah. I would not be so quick to do that, because I'm keeping in mind, okay, 9 times out of 10, when the flex schedule or the 2019 to 20 season comes out, 9 times out of 10, you guys are going to be meeting up again in prime time. So it's one of those deals where, do you really want to reveal your hand right now? Seriously? How about maybe you reveal your hand maybe 2 or 3 years from now? But I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, for me, keys to the game, when I look at the time of possession, Rams 36 minutes to Dallas Cowboys 23. When I look at the passing yards, I mean, Cowboys did okay there, but they got crushed on the rushing yards. I mean, Rams 273 to Dallas Cowboys 50. Like I said, Cowboys did okay with the passing yards, 258 to 186. They did okay right there, but you look at the total yards, 459 to 308. Yeah, they both tied at penalties. You look at the total plays, Rams 76 to Cowboys 55. Yeah, man, when you have numbers like that, time of possession, that total number of plays, yeah, with a game like that, I mean, my defensive line for the Cowboys side of the ball, they did not put enough pressure, hardly any pressure at all, on Goff. I'm screaming at this damn TV of mine over the weekend, and I'm saying, blitz him, put the pressure on him, do a 3-man blitz, what the hell, press the guy, you got him. And that first half was just, what the hell. And don't even get me started on that one play where Dak Prescott was scrambling like a mother, and his own man comes up from behind him, almost like a shield, tries to wrap himself around Dak, spin him away from getting tackled so that Dak can go scramble on and keep the play alive, right? That could have very well been a situation where Dak could have gotten the Cowboys to a position where maybe they could have gotten a field goal attempt. Maybe they could have gotten another first down, and maybe they would have had a scoring drive. We never really will know. But for the referees to call that basically a sack. I mean, how is that a sack? His own man was grabbing him and taking him out of harm's way. Like, what the fuck? So, crazy. That was just crazy for me. But look, if I'm Jerry Jones, pay Dak. That's all I care about right now. Pay Dak. He is so worthy of... Now, look, he shouldn't be getting that Joe Flacco money. I'll be the first to tell you, he is not getting that. He should not get that Peyton Manning money. He should not get that... yeah, he shouldn't be getting that type of money. As far as I'm concerned, give him a... I think Dak has earned somewhere between 15 to 21 million. I think that's the type of contract that he's earned. When I see a situation where he can get them to a divisional game, just one game away from the playoffs, basically, you know, when I can see him take his team to that, okay, this is it. This is what it's all about here. Win this game, and then you go to the Super Bowl. When I can see him get to that point, then I think he should command a higher salary. But until that happens, yeah, I'm staying within that ballpark. So final score of that one, 22 to 30 Rams, keeping it alive, and they're moving on. The Patriots game, I laughed my ass off all the political analysts, I said political for the way they were breaking it down, it was kind of political, but because political from the standpoint of what's really your agenda here? Because everybody that I heard on radio, talk shows, oh, the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era, it's over this weekend. Oh, he can't win with that team. Oh, Father Time is finally catching up with Tom Brady. He's a broken down old man. He's a shell of himself. He's nowhere where he was last year. Yada, yada, yada. And I'm just kicking back. I'm watching this and I'm like, literally saying to myself, I'm sorry, but did Tom Brady break his arm or something? Did he break a leg? I don't know, has he aged 10 years between games that we don't know about? Because if it's all on the line and it's on any given Sunday, I don't care if it's a 41 going on 42-year-old Tom Brady, right? Or give me the Tom Brady from last year or a couple of years ago. I've just seen so much from this guy, right? That I cannot just write off Tom Brady. I am not, and I am telling you, when you look at that Super Bowl game from last year and just how close Brady was, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to bet against him. So to see him go in there and take care of business with the with his team over the Chargers, 41-28, that was just wow, magnifico. I mean, if you want to say vintage Tom Brady, I'll go ahead, I'll bite into that, but I would rather just go with, hey, it looks like the Tom Brady from last year's Super Bowl run. It looks like that Brady is showing up, right? Yes, we know the Eagles won last year, but you understand the point that I'm making. I'm talking about basically the year before that one when they did win. Basically, it seems like that is the Tom Brady that is resurfacing right about now. I'm not going to write these guys off. I'm just not. Now, I can't wait to see that game between the Patriots and the Chiefs. We remember the Week 6 matchup that aired primetime on NBC. That was a phenomenal game. I love basically the endorsement. I love the sign of respect that Brady gave to Patrick Mahomes after the game. A lot of people wanted to look at that as a passing of the... Come on. Brady didn't announce anything about retiring or anything like that. But if you want to go with, hey, as far as when the time does come, yeah, then sure. Maybe, especially if Mahomes can keep up with that consistency, then yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, passing of the torch. Sure, anything is possible. But that Patriots-Chiefs game, I cannot wait for that one. I'm telling you, that one, I would imagine that of all the games this playoff season, I would imagine that particular game is probably going to almost double what it had got during the regular season as far as viewership goes. I would imagine there's going to be a lot more people checking this out because you're probably going to have a majority of the people that maybe did not see the game that are going to hear about it from their friends, co-workers. They heard what went down in Week 6. And now that game in particular is probably going to bring them back. And so I can't wait for that one. Can't wait for that one. And for the Eagles, their magical carpet ride to defending their title, it ended as they lost to the Saints 20-14. This really could be a situation where it could be Drew Brees' year. It very well could be Drew Brees' year. I was telling this a couple of weeks ago. I've been saying it off and on now. It could be a situation where it could come down to the Saints and the Chiefs. That would be one hell of a matchup, man. One hell of a matchup. But Saints looking really good. Looking really, really good. You know, I kind of felt bad for the Eagles. I legitimately did. But you know what? Now that you don't have the Cowboys in there, you don't have the defending champions in there, pretty much all that's left is Patriots. And I'm telling you, if Patriots gets eliminated, I think it could create even more buzz for this year's Super Bowl, because normally, I don't know how it is for you guys and your friends and your family, but for me, whenever I get around my people and the talk of football is brought up, if there's one complaint that's almost unanimous with them. It's tired of seeing Tom Brady and the Patriots win. Want to see some new blood in there. Yeah, he's good and everything, but I want to see something else. And, you know, it's so predictable when you see that, Patriots are in there, they're going to get it. You know, so it's almost become, what's the right word that I'm looking for? It's almost become a tradition for some fans. Like when they hear that, oh, no, Brady's in there, forget it, it's over. I'm not going to even bother watching it. Forget it. Heard rumblings about who's going to be doing the Super Bowl halftime show. We heard rumblings it was going to be Maroon 5. It was announced that indeed, in fact, it is going to be Maroon 5. That is actually one halftime show I will be skipping. Other than that, show me the commercials. That's all I really care about. Show me the damn commercials and I will be set. Also, speaking of commercials, did you guys check out the new trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming? That bad boy looks sweet. Jake Gyllenhaal, one of my all-time favorite actors. Jake Gyllenhaal is Mysterio. My God, first of all, that is badass that we're now in a situation where they are not using recycled villains in the Spider-Man universe. I love the fact that with all of these wonderful, colorful Spider-Man villains that we've been reading about in the comics, it's nice that it's a situation where, okay, look, here's something that we can create. And I mean, honestly, Mysterio should have been done a long time ago, a long time ago. So the fact that we're getting it now, it's awesome. I'm also hoping that with this movie, because it didn't really dawn on me until I checked out the trailer, and the fact that Peter Parker is going with his friends on a nice fun road trip or what have you, vacation to Europe, and we see Nick Fury comes across him and everything, I hope there is some type of a nod to Morbius and Blade. Like, me personally, I would love to see the Blade character come back. I'm not really sure if it should be a situation where Wesley Snipes should resurrect that role. I'm a little bit on the fence, or if maybe they should go with somebody, I hate to say it, but a little bit younger. I know Wesley Snipes is in phenomenal shape. He's always been in phenomenal shape, but I can't help but wonder if, okay, you're kind of getting up there, about time to go in a different direction. And if you were to go in a different direction with regards to Blade, my personal recommendation, I think you should go with Mahershala Ali. I think he would be a phenomenal Blade. Just tell him he needs to pack on an additional 20 pounds of body mass, bulk up just a little bit by about 20, maybe 30 pounds max. I think he would be a phenomenal Blade. Now, some of you guys may be saying, yeah, but Lee, he's just a little bit old too. Yeah, he's about somewhere between 43 to almost going on 45. So yeah, he is a little bit older, but if I'm not mistaken, Wesley Snipes, my God, I think Wesley Snipes now is 55, maybe 57, last I had checked. And I can actually look at his age right now for you guys. And survey says, yeah, he's 56. So he's going to be 57 this July. Yeah. Whereas if you go with someone like Mahershala Ali, I think if you were to do maybe a 3-picture deal, a couple of options in there for him to make some cameos here and there, honestly, you do it just right, you could probably have 3 pictures with Ali knocked out by, let's just say hypothetically speaking, they were to film this year. You could probably have 3 films out the way within a span of maybe 6 years. So basically, what's that? He's like 43, 44, so 6 years. So that's not too bad. He'll basically be young, a young 51-ish, 52-ish. That's not really too bad, right? So I don't know, but I mean, to each its own. But and the reason why I was thinking about Blade is because, as you all know, that know your comic books, Blade did a lot of fighting in London, also in New York and other parts, but he was kind of somewhat of a wanderer from what I remember early on in the comic books, but he was fighting a lot in London from what I remember. And then Morbius was another character who came across Spider-Man. He was another one that was out there in London as well. So I'm really hoping that maybe we get some type of a, if not a full-blown, here they are, just some type of a slight nod to those wonderful, colorful characters. Morbius is the one I'm really homing in on, because off and on over the years, we heard some rumblings that Sony was thinking about approaching the Morbius villains. So, but I loved what we got from that trailer. Melissa Tomei, my God, she is gorgeous. Gorgeous. She gets better and better with age, man. Better and better with age. I still remember her from one of my all-time favorite movies. Her and Wesley Snipes, as a matter of fact. Jungle Fever. Whew. If you guys have never seen Jungle Fever, do yourselves a favor. Check that out. That movie is just... boy, it really brings a... it really brings into full-blown perspective of an interracial relationship. And the way Wesley Snipes had dealt with it, you know, he tackled it at the right time, I personally felt, because you did have, back in the early 90s, black women, whenever they would see a black man walking down the street, holding hands, kissing a white woman and all that, you know, you did see a situation where, oh man, actually, you know what? Forgive me. I always get her mixed up with, I always get Melissa Tomei mixed up with Annabella, I think Sciorra. I always get her mixed up with Jungle Fever. No, it wasn't those two, but they do look, when you match their pictures up, they do look very, very similar to each other. But Marissa Tomei is much more attractive. But I still recommend checking out Jungle Fever. I still recommend that. Yeah, but that one looked really good. What else? There was something else. Oh, while we're talking TV real quick, I can't help but recommend, while we were also talking about Mahershala Ali, if you guys did not already, check out the newest season of True Detective. Now, they had a 2-episode premiere this past weekend, and I tell you, it was phenomenal. And I couldn't help but come to work today. It was my first time being back since the snowstorm. And I was talking to my boss and a couple of coworkers about it. And some of them, they've never seen True Detective. And I was giving them the skinny about it. Well, is it one of these shows where you got to watch the previous season? No. And I tell you, I know the second season had left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths. They felt that it wasn't as strong as the first season. This third season, the way it's beginning so far, really redeems itself extremely well. And if I can just give you guys a quick synopsis without spending 10 minutes talking about it. Mahershala Ali portrays this detective who we first come across in, I want to say, 1980. And he's just a couple of years removed from serving in the military and all that. And he is trying to do his best to solve this case. There's like 2 kids that go missing. Him and his partner, Stephen Dorff, Blade, yeah. They are doing the very best that they can. They kind of have a, kind of reminds me of Sonny Crockett and Tibbs from Miami Vice. It almost kind of feels like that type of relationship there. And then some, right? Really looking out for each other. They are boys, thick as thieves, basically, doing whatever by any means necessary, using somewhat questionable tactics. Nothing illegal, just, well, I won't say illegal, but nothing where it's, hey, you're a crooked cop. Nothing that we've seen just yet, at least as far as these first couple of episodes go. But we see Ali's character as this detective beginning this case, trying to solve, you know, what's going on with these kids. Were they kidnapped? Are they dead somewhere? What's going on? And when we see him, he's pretty sure of himself. He's on point, extremely confident. And then we see him again in 1990. And by 1990, all right, 10 years removed, he is no longer in the department where he was working. And yet that case that I just talked about, it is still haunting him to that period in time. And we also see that he is starting to have possibly some form of dementia, as we see that he's recording stuff. We didn't see that with him in 1980. But in 1990, now we're seeing him, he's talking to a recorder, and you're going, you don't really think too much of it, except, okay, maybe he's just giving himself personal notes, whatever. But he kind of seems a little bit, I want to say, maybe unnerved. He kind of seems a little bit shaken as far as his confidence goes. He seems as though he is second guessing himself and decisions that he's made, especially with this particular case. And then we fast forward to his character in 2015. So now he's aged 70, I want to say, and the dementia is just full blown. I won't give it away, but there is a really heartbreaking scene towards the end of the second episode where you really just see how bad this dementia has taken its toll on him. And beautiful, just beautiful acting by Ali. He amazes me. Everything that he touches just always seems to be gold. Everything that he touches, from House of Cards to Cottonmouth, you name it. Everything that this guy touches, it is freaking gold. And he's got a really good, hot, steady hand right now. Whoever his PR team is and all that, or maybe it's ultimately up to him, but they are doing a really good job in being very careful about the roles that he takes on. I mean, it's just a great, impressive body of work so far for this young man, and he's got many more years to go. So I love the struggle as we see this man in 3 different periods of time, and how this one case has affected him in those 3 periods. And it's also a painful and sad reminder of the everyday struggles that some individuals have to deal with when they have this dementia, right? Especially at the rate that his is at by the time we see him in 2015. I mean, your heart just freaking breaks. You know, now when you see him, he lacks confidence. He's very agitated. He doesn't have confidence. Yeah, he just amazing when you look at it where he is in 2015 and you go, wow, we just saw you in 1990 and now look at you in 2015. And 2015, and you compare it to the 1980 version, it's like, man, you're nowhere. You know, you see the similarities, but they're so different in contrast. Check it out when you guys get a chance. If you guys get HBO, check that out. Good stuff. Hey, let's dive into some wrestling headlines, man. Let's dive into some stuff here. So since last we were on the air with you guys, a couple of stuff had went down. Yeah, Raw, SmackDown look. So biggest takeaway from Raw this week is Braun Strowman showed up, wanted to get his hands on Baron Corbin. Did not know it, but he destroyed a limousine that Baron Corbin was in, which belonged to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon in storyline slapping Strowman with a $100,000 fine, following up with that and also removing him from his title match against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble in 2 weeks. And this had a lot of people just, what the hell is going on here? Well, we're hearing, take it with a grain of salt, but Dave Meltzer is reporting that one of the reasons why they had did this is it is believed that Braun Strowman sadly is not ready for in-ring competition just yet. And another factor that plays into this is Vince McMahon honestly did not want to have Braun Strowman lose again to Brock Lesnar. He really felt that this would tremendously hurt the big man. Whatever momentum he's been able to build thus far, it would just take him down a notch further, and Vince really did not want to do that. And so he felt that Finn Balor, Lesnar, that was the way to go. He actually was very keen on the idea of Lesnar and Balor many months back, and wanted to pull the trigger, but felt that Balor was not built up properly. So that's why these past couple of weeks you've seen this situation where Balor has been given more and more spotlight time. You could make the argument that as far as creative and the writers putting their brains together with that huge absence think about it, that huge absence that we experienced where not only was Strowman gone, but Roman Reigns was gone as well. And now you've got creative, the writers, management. Okay, well, who's next up? Who's going to step up next? Who are we going to go with? And so to see what's been happening with Finn Balor, this is great. Word is also out there that Brock Lesnar is actually very high on Finn Balor, wants to work with him, wanted to work with him last year, has jockeyed, has positioned to, hey, yeah, give me Finn Balor. Finn Balor, so here we go. Here's the match. And for Lesnar likes working with smaller guys like a Finn Balor. So to have a situation come about where you're going to have these two guys, another David and Goliath story. I got to find the audio, but I remember a good while back. I don't know if I did it last year or if maybe it was the year before that. I'd have to scrounge around and find the audio. But I remember saying something along the lines of the way you have Finn Balor fight Brock Lesnar, you don't let regular Finn Balor come out. You let Finn Balor tap into the demon, and you let the demon take on Brock Lesnar. You need a demon to possibly defeat a beast. That's basically the route that I was going. So I'm hoping that with 2 weeks left before we get ready to go into the Royal Rumble, what I personally would love to see happen to really amp this match up and really have people feel intrigued and, oh my God, it really could happen. Balor could really go in here and defeat Brock Lesnar. I would like to see some type of a situation come about where, and that's the thing, I do not know when's the next time Brock Lesnar is going to be showing up. So to you guys in the Discord, if you guys could let me know when Brock Lesnar's next scheduled dates are, I'd appreciate that. Or you could get at me on Twitter at the RCWR Show, guys. If I were booking this, if it was up to me creatively, first off, I hope that common sense had kicked in and you had a situation come about where the last time Brock Lesnar had showed up, they filmed some stuff between him and Finn Balor. Otherwise, if in a perfect world, right, you have Brock Lesnar come in on this Monday's Raw, you do some type of an angle where he just beats the holy crap out of Finn Balor, and that's pretty much the last that we see of Finn Balor or whatever. And then when you set up the go-home show for the Royal Rumble, you could basically have Finn Balor, I won't say be in the middle of the ring. I think it would be better if you did some type of a pre-recorded promo where basically Balor in a nutshell says, okay, Lesnar, you've pushed me too far. You're not just facing a man at the Royal Rumble. You forget that within me, within my soul, is a demon. And that demon has been looking to be let out for quite some time now. Brock Lesnar, you call yourself a beast. Well, we'll see how you do when you cross paths with my demon, right? I just think if you built it up like that, that would be really freaking badass. Because I'm telling you, if you just go into it, just regular Finn Balor taking on Brock Lesnar, oh yes, it's going to be a good matchup. No doubt about it. It's going to be equal to what Lesnar and Daniel Bryan did, which was actually a really good matchup. I mean, you got to give Lesnar his due. He seemed like he was really having fun with Daniel Bryan in that one. But I think one of the arguments you can make, if it's just regular Finn Balor taking on Lesnar and he loses to Lesnar, fans could definitely walk away and say, well, storyline wise, he didn't tap into the demon. If he tapped into the demon, what would the outcome have been? So you could always make that argument. So, hey, fresh matchup. I honestly, the card is really starting to look good, quite honestly. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, the past few times that we've seen Lesnar and Strowman lock up, it's been... But the storyline is right there as far as Strowman becoming a champion. The storyline is there for Lesnar to finally get his just due, because every single time you turned around and Strowman came so close, it seemed as though Lesnar always got the one up on him. And you would just think that with the way everything is just aligning, that now more than ever, right? And so you can't help but wonder, well, when is Strowman ever going to be in a position where he gets his just due? Like, he's done his part through creative and putting over Lesnar, but if he's supposed to be this young man, if he is supposed to be the face, the future of the company, one of the futures of the company, then when is he going to get his just due and get that rub off? So, a little something to marinate on. I love that WWE, I got to give them a lot of credit, the way that they have propelled Finn Balor within recent weeks. The great NXT UK event, that was phenomenal. I loved all of that. I did watch it. I felt that the last match was just, I'm probably not really in the popular saying this, so you guys got to forgive me, but that's what makes this world so beautiful, is that we all can agree to disagree. But for me, I thought that the last match for the NXT UK Championship was way too long. For me, that match just went, my God, if I'm not mistaken, that match went, I think almost, was it almost 40 minutes? I hope it wasn't 40 minutes. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. Let me actually look at the card right now for you guys. And, of course, I'm talking about NXT Takeover Blackpool. Yeah, that card was actually pretty damn good. Congrats to everybody on that card. Everybody on that card, they did fucking phenomenal. I enjoyed that. Yeah, sadly, I do not religiously watch NXT UK, but there was enough for me to, okay, I got this. All right, I understand that. I think I had watched the, let me see, not the second to last episode, but the third is what I had watched. Yeah, Pete Dunne taking on Joe Coffey for the UK Championship. That match had went 34 minutes long. For me, that was just a bit too long. I wish it would have been a situation where they had trimmed that by about 10 minutes. That's just me, honestly. I'm being for real on that one. But it was an enjoyable match. But the other thing that I didn't like about the matchup, these guys are just kicking out of finishers and shit left and right. And like, you're going, wow, how is this going to end? And you're thinking, well, maybe somebody's going to interfere in this, and somehow Pete Dunne retains the title that way, because they're kicking out of everything. And then for the match to basically end with Pete Dunne doing his traditional breaking of the fingers. Like, wait a minute, really? That's how it's going to end? Like that? I mean, these guys were crashing, burning, and doing all kinds of other crazy shit, and we're going to end it like that? For me, the finish was just... Toni Storm defeating Rhea Ripley for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Now look, and this was really hilarious. It's connecting to Finn Balor, so stay with me, folks, because he did appear on this UK event. Look, I said something on Twitter once I had found out that Toni Storm had won the NXT Women's Championship, and it was basically unpopular for some people, to the point they went on ahead and they unfollowed me. And I'm like, okay, wow, so that's how we're doing this? That's the game that we're playing now, is when you're not drinking the same Kool-Aid as everybody else, you're either a hater or whatever you want to call it, right? You know, you're being an asshole, whatever you want to call it, unfollow, right? Okay, whatever, we're going to play that game, that's fine. So I did not take a shit on Toni Storm at all. What I basically had said on Twitter, and I expanded more on Facebook, and actually let me read it to you, because you know, sadly, when it comes to freaking Twitter, you only got but so many freaking characters. But here's what I had said. First half of it was basically on Twitter, and then I basically put it all together on Facebook and Instagram. So I said, and I quote, Toni won, huh? Personally, her cracking and taking down her social media accounts should not have warranted this. Say from a PR standpoint, she does an interview that gets out of hand. She walks off? I don't know. She showed a breakdown for me. It is what it is. And I followed that up once I saw I had a couple of people unfollow. I said, funny, when I don't drink the same Kool-Aid as everyone else, it's unfollow. Folks, I'm not ever going to say what is popular just for retweet and likes. I'm always going to speak from the heart. You all may not like it, but guess what? I'm not an apologist. Not sorry if I lose followers from this. Never said Tony sucked, just said WWE should have waited. She is a 23-year-old young woman with maturing to do. For me personally, I would have made her wait longer and really make sure that before pulling the trigger and putting the spotlight on her, that there's no video that's going to surface of her getting climaxed on by 5 guys while a horse looks on. Just saying, that's my opinion. And that's honestly how I was looking at things. Now, you know, some people wanted to look at this and basically say, oh, you know, she shouldn't be punished for it. Nobody said anything about being punished. Being punished, and see, we throw terminologies like that so freely without really understanding what we're saying when we put that out there, and then really analyzing the setup that would warrant something like that. So in this instance, when you hear that, oh, nah, we really should not put the title on them right now because they're under scrutiny right now on social media with these private leaks that had came out. Oh no, they shouldn't be punished. Why are you punishing? That's not punishing. Punishing would be, okay, you're not working tonight. You're not working tomorrow night. You're not working at all this week. You're not going to be working for the next couple of weeks. You're suspended. Or you're fired. Or, okay, we're going to put you in a match against Hornswoggle, and you're going to lose that match. You're going to lose within 10 seconds to Hornswoggle, and you're going to love it. Right? Putting them in some type of weird, stupid, degrading segments, you could maybe look at all of that as a, wow, this person is eating some serious crow right now. Who did they piss off in the back, right? That is punishment. But to basically go from a PR standpoint, I mean, really stop and think about it and see, this is what makes me so cool. Among other shows that's out there. That's why I say what I say. Like, I'm not going to always say the popular thing just because it's the cool thing to do and it gets you the likes, the retweets and all that shit, the favorites, and, you know, oh, Sasha Banks saw what I said and I don't care for that shit. I don't. I sleep well at night. I've pissed off some wrestlers that have blocked me and I just keep moving on. Life goes on. I don't care, right? I'm not in this to be popular. I want to, if anything, if I'm feeling it from the heart and I know it's on point, I'm going to speak it. I'm going to speak it. And for me, all I'm saying is just from a PR standpoint, these people, these fans, young fans at that, they care more about their favorite stars on TV, wanting them to get pushed and all this. And I get that. But you also got to look at things from a business standpoint. That's what it's about. And I say to you, what happens if another video comes out? Like I just said in that pretty hilarious description, considering there's a horse looking on, what do you say then? You know, it's not about punishing her, but what do you say then? What do you say to guys like me that go, hey, you know, really should wait because there could be some more damaging stuff that's out there, and, you know, and for me to see her take her social media accounts down, that showed me a crack in her armor a little bit. Instead, this should have been a moment for her, an opportunity for her to take to social media and say, hey, guys, please respect my privacy, you know, you know, to the younger fans that's out there that maybe had came across this. I'm sorry that you did come across it. Trust me, I'm working with authorities to make sure that whoever is responsible for this, they are brought to justice, blah, 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 right? That's how you take control of a situation. you know, it is what it is. You got to own it and you got to press forward and life goes on. That's really taking control of the situation. To delete all of your social media accounts, you're basically giving that person who is in charge of putting out those leaks. And that's the thing. Everybody wants to, you know, keep saying, oh, you know, leak. No, you know, no, her shit was hacked. Let's get that straight. I'm tired of seeing that terminology. You know, leak is basically, okay, I'm gonna send this cute little photo of the doggy kissing the other puppy to my woman. Okay, I got a text message from my sister. Let me see how okay, she wants to see the picture of the puppy too. Okay. And oh my God, I just sent a dick pic to my sister. Shit! That's a leak. What happened, sadly, with freaking, with Toni Storm, that was a hack. Somebody hacked her shit and put her shit out there, all right? So leaks and hacks, we need to really get that terminology right, okay? There's a big difference between a leak and a hack. Leak, you get it. Hack, you get it. But I think she's still a very talented young girl. Beauty is definitely on her side. Does it make me happy to see that upper management is still getting behind her and they're going with her forward as planned? Yes, it actually does. And if somebody would have really taken the time, instead of unfollowing and blocking like some of you people like to do when you don't get it your way, and yeah, she's great, ain't she? Ain't she great? Wait, he said what? Fuck you, you know? If it was a situation where there would be dialogue, then you would definitely understand where I'm coming from. And maybe you could bring something new to the table and clue me in on something that maybe I didn't consider. And it's like, oh, okay, well, now I know where you're coming from. Well, now I know where you're coming from. Hey, shake. And that's the end of it, right? But it does make me happy to see that the company is still behind her. I would like to imagine that with certainty they had pulled her to the side when this had happened. I'm sure that she was with upper management and HR, and I'm sure the question was brought up, is there anything else that's going to be coming out that we need to prepare ourselves for? And I'm sure that she, you know, I would like to believe she was honest with them and said, no, that's absolutely it. There's nothing else, nothing that I'm aware of. I didn't do anything else where I was in an uncompromising position, things of that nature. And I'm sure there was a firm understanding and they went forward. So I hope for her sake that nothing else is out there, but people saying, oh, she shouldn't be punished because nobody was ever saying anything about she needed to be punished. So let's stop with that type of talk because that's bullshit. But that was a really good match. That was a really good match that she had. And moving on with the rest of the card here. By the way, if you guys got access, for those of you who I gave access to in the Discord chat, you really need to go to the Discord chat. I do have the Discord chat open. If I gave you access to the Discord chat, pop your head in the Discord chat because I'm not going to be looking anywhere else. Just want to give you guys that heads up right now. I'm keeping it very simplistic for the shows going forward. So I really do appreciate that. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, let's go over the rest of the UK card here because I told you I was working up to Finn Balor here. So we had Dave Mustache. He defeated Eddie Dennis. No disqualification match. You know, that was all right. Jordan Devlin. I forgot the guy he initially was fighting, but that match, sadly, it never happened because Jordan had attacked the guy earlier in the day. And the guy couldn't even get into the ring so that the bell could start because Devlin had attacked him from behind, started working on the knee some more. I remember he slammed him knee first into some steel steps, and that pretty much was it. UK commissioner, other authority figurehead came out. Yeah, we figured this was going to happen, so we made a couple of calls, and we got a surprise for you. Finn Balor had came out. And perfect storyline that sold itself right there as far as, hey, Balor actually had trained Devlin from his school and all that. So, I mean, that's great history right there. Love that. Ate that up. Great match. No way Devlin was going to win over a former Universal Champion. There's no way that was going to go down. Zach Gibson and James Drake, they defeated Mustache Mountain to become your first NXT UK Tag Team Champions. And that was pretty much it. There were some dark matches that had went down. I'm not going to get into those. Again, dark matches. Those dark matches, I would like to believe that at some point, maybe we'll see them on an episode of NXT. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, but it is what it is. So, great momentum that Finn Balor had from NXT UK, and then he goes into Monday Night Raw, gets into this fatal four-way matchup. Well, first off, let's step back a bit, because his spot in that fatal four-way match to determine who's going to go on to face Lesnar at the Royal Rumble was in jeopardy, because frickin' Jinder Mahal talked to Vince McMahon, wanted an opportunity. He's actually kissing ass if you really want to break it down. But McMahon, okay, pick any of the 4 guys from that ring you'd like to face, and if you can beat them, you'll be placed in that fatal 4-way. Figure out who's going to be the #1 contender. Well, Jinder did not get the job done. Finn Balor continued his momentum going into that fatal 4-way. John Cena, Balor, Baron Corbin, and who was the Drew McIntyre was your 4th guy. Great seeing Cena out there. I love that passionate promo that he gave to Vince McMahon and bringing up the whole ruthless aggression, talking about how when The Rock had left, when Stone Cold had left, when Lesnar left, how he's always been there for him. I loved hearing all that. Nice going down memory lane. Also gave me flashbacks to the great chemistry / segments that McMahon and Cena used to have. Really ate that up. Good stuff. Damn good stuff. All those guys had clicked. Of course, Corbin, as always, having the go-away heat. The Fatal 4-Way match to close out Raw, phenomenal. Balor winning that one, becoming the new #1 contender. Cena giving him the endorsement afterwards, post-match, really putting him over. Loved all that, ate all that up. And I know a lot of people are just giddy right now over what's going on with Balor. But, you know, if you ask me off the break, well, is Balor going to get the job done at the Royal Rumble? I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. But for the duration that Roman Reigns is out, next man up, and this opportunity that Finn Balor has, I think it all just depends on the WWE Universe. I think it depends on what's happening at the gates. I also think it depends on what's happening with the pay-per-view buys, with the network subscriptions, what's happening quarterly when you look at the viewership numbers involving Finn Balor. I believe all of those things you have to take into account to see what exactly is going on with Balor and if he's moving that needle. And if he is moving that needle, then it may be enough for WWE to say, well, let's go in this direction. Yeah, we can definitely go here. No problem. But I don't think Balor is going to be drawing up enough of a buzz to change the course of WrestleMania. We know that with regards to WrestleMania, WWE usually has this stuff already mapped out. And I'm sure once Roman Reigns had went out, if he was to be in a situation he'd be the champion going into WrestleMania season or whatnot, I would like to believe that WWE scrounged around, tried to come up with the next blueprint, and that blueprint set in stone. Could it possibly be Rollins and Lesnar? I would rather just deal with it when the time comes, honestly, but I just don't see Balor at the Royal Rumble. Now, look, crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened. We'll just wait and see. We got 2 more weeks to go, man, so we'll wait and see how that goes. SmackDown was pretty good tonight. It was nice seeing Miz do the whole birthday celebration for Shane O'Mac. Actually, I had enjoyed that. They seem, I tell you, the most unorthodox team I have seen to date. And I really like the combination, but there's that part of me that's also going, where's the stab? You know the stab in the back is coming. I don't want to think about it. I just want to try to do my best to enjoy the ride, but I just kind of feel like that stab in the back is coming. What the hell? So I don't know. But that was good. The Cien Almas Rey Mysterio matchup. I don't know how many of you guys had caught that one on SmackDown tonight. If you did not, go out of your way and check it out. That was actually a fantastic match. Shades of Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. Thoroughly enjoyed that match. I wish that would have been the main event of the night. That's how good that match was. And I'm not over critiquing that. You guys got to go when you get an opportunity. Check it out. Maybe you'll be able to see it next day on Hulu or whatnot. Check it out. It was actually really good. Trying to think if there was anything else that had came about noteworthy for me that I want to get into. And there really wasn't anything else from the shows this week. Hey, can we take time out? Can we recognize our Patreon members because their kind contributions, why shows like what you're checking out right now keeps on rocking, man. Appreciate these guys. Check out patreon.com/RCWR Show. You get access to exclusive content, audio, video. You get in on some really cool contests. Loads more, man. Check it out. Patreon.com/RCWR Show. Shout out to Michael Wolf, Anthony Missionary Thomas, Wrestling Soup, Joe Raymond Jr., and John Davis. Shout out to you guys. We'll get into a couple more shout outs later on. Do want to recognize a good buddy of mine, Tony Bing. Check him out if you guys play Marvel Strike Force on the iOS or Android. Want to know all things Marvel Strike Force news and beyond. Check him out. He's got a great YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tony Bing Gaming. News, reviews, the works. Check him out, Tony Bing Gaming. He also has a Patreon account as well. Same name. Sure he'd appreciate the love and the support. See, get into a couple more topics here. I think we're doing good on Showtime. I think at this rate, we're probably going to go until... Let me see how much Showtime we got here. Bear with me a second here, guys. Let me see how much Showtime we got here. Because I can actually look at how long the audio has been recording, and I can pretty much go from there for you guys. I think we've almost been on an hour. And if that's so, then I think this might end up being... Yeah, we've been on for an hour from what I'm seeing right now. So there's plenty of Showtime left. I'm just trying to figure out how many more topics I wanted to get into before we get into the award show. So we're actually pretty good. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. So since last we were on the air with you guys, before anybody asks me, did I watch the R. Kelly documentary? Yes, I did. I am actually on episode 3 right now. And I'm not going to be talking about that until it's time to record Wrestling with the Topics. We are Patreon members, some content, and half of that content, Tammy hasn't been feeling well. So now she's up and at 'em again. So we're trying to figure out when we're going to sit down and record. We're definitely going to be doing something this week. And we'll definitely be talking about the whole R. Kelly thing then on Wrestling with the Topics. So you guys will get access to that real soon. Also, in case you guys don't know, Impact Showdown had made its return. So for those of you that love Impact Wrestling, you appreciated the Impact Showdown series that we did for you guys, covering exclusive Impact Wrestling episodes, TNA news, well now Impact Wrestling news, things of that nature. We brought that series back. We had polled you guys. The poll is actually still available. It's on the YouTube channel under the communities tab. You can actually pick it on back and check it out. And we asked you guys, hey, look, thinking about bringing back the series. How would you like it to come at you? And one of the options was audio for download and demand, since the show does not go off, Impact Wrestling that is, it does not go off until 12 a.m. Saturday morning. Most people are either in the bed, or they're out clubbing, they're with friends, just hanging out. So most people, it's kind of hard Friday night, especially that time slot that Impact has, kind of rough. And then there was another option where it was, well, just come on live after Impact is over, but just give us live audio. And then there was an option where you guys could get the webcast pretty much as soon as Impact is over with. I want to say maybe there was an option where it was a pre-recorded webcast. Not really sure. I'm not sure if I put that in there, but the lead dog right now is the audio. So if you agree with that, sound off. If you don't agree with those results, sound off. But we put the first episode out there. So the way it's looking right now, the polling's going to stay open for another week. I'll say it'll stay active until this Saturday. But what's going to happen in the meantime, I'm going to do another pre-recorded audio that'll be available for downloads and on demand. And then pretty much Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern, when I see the results. So that's basically going to be, I'm going to delete the poll results at, actually I won't delete the polling results, I'll leave it up there. So the polling will end on Saturday, January 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern. And pretty much whatever the lead dog is from that point going forward, that's pretty much how we'll give you guys the shows. But check that out, pretty good. Impact Wrestling actually had won a couple of year-end awards, some of their talents as well, when we get ready to dive into the Wrestling Year-End Awards. So do stick around for that. Gonna be some good stuff. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he had made headlines, and I like the comments. But it turns out Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did not say those comments, right? Yeah, I know. When you hear that, it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? So let's rewind this back. And this was really popular because it got so bad that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson actually had to take to his social media accounts and say, hey, this interview, it never did happen. I'm not sure what the hell, but yeah, never did happen. So let's get you guys caught up to speed. So supposedly there was a interview with the Daily Star that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had did. And if I can actually pull up the, hang on, because I'm not going to even do these guys justice, but it was the Daily Star. And I have first shared this news on Facebook. And let me see if I can actually pull that up for you guys here on Facebook here real quick. Bear with me a second here. Yeah, so he had to take to his official social media accounts to deny making Snowflake comments that were claimed by the Daily Star, as he called it completely fabricated. Yeah. And a guy by the name of Jake Andrews of the Daily Star, he's the one that had claimed that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has spoke exclusively to the Daily Star. So, and it led to a whole bunch of 5 things you did not know about this daily journalist. And, you know, I'm reading this article of Dwayne Johnson, and it sounds really good. It sounds really, really good. And here's what's really, really funny. The article that is in question, when you go to the Daily Star, originally, you were able to click on it and you could read it. But now, when you go to that link, it's a 404 page that's not found. So it is seriously a whoopsie, right? But I'm curious if I can actually find the full comments that he had said at the time, because I want to read them to you, because I thought the words were really awesome. Let me see. I think it might be this one. I mean, hang on a second, because I want to read this to you guys here. Nope. Here we go. And I quote, "So many good people fought for freedom and equality, but this generation are looking for a reason to be offended, supposedly said Dwayne Johnson. If you are not agreeing with them, then they are offended, and that is not what so many great men and women fought for. And then the superstar thinks that while the world has become a more tolerant and better place, whining snowflakes are draining positive change through their constant moaning. So this is apparently what this Jack Andrews guy claimed that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had said. And like we said, Dwayne took to his social media account, said, no, this interview, it never did happen. So now you've got top five things that you need to know with regards to Jake Andrews. So here's what happened. Jake Andrews quoted The Rock as saying Generation Snowflakes are actually putting us backwards, which is not standard American English. So you look at the tweet that he had put out there, and it says exclusive, The Rock slams hashtag snowflakes for looking for reasons to be offended. Rock never said those things. Daily Star, as it stands right now, as of this recording, they have yet to offer any explanation for the article. Now, we should note that the Daily Star has yet to either stand by the story, and like I said, they've deleted it from their homepage. The Guardian reports that the interview may have been provided to the newspaper by a freelancer and then written up by a staff writer. The newspaper says that the freelancer is outside of the United Kingdom and is not responding to messages. Now, to Jake Andrews' credit, he has 146 stories on the Daily Star website. The articles go back to 2012, and it sees him covering mainly soap operas, soccer, and celebrities. Says here that Andrews has worked for the Daily Mirror, which is owned by Reach, the company that owns the Daily Star. It also says that he has written for The Sun, the Soray Advertiser, and Cecile Wig. So I immediately, when this had first came out, and once I had saw what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had said, it was, okay, well, show me the audio. Show me the video. Like, if you are a newspaper publication of some type in this day and age, you're going to be sitting down and you're going to be recording the audio. If you got video, you're going to be recording that as well. Very seldom is it a situation where, well, I can't really do this interview, but let's go on ahead and you send me the questions via email and I'll type it up and I'll give it back to you. Very rare will you come across that. But even if you do, it's usually a situation where before that reporter publishes that interview, before he goes live, whoever that person was that they conducted the interview with, them and their respective PR team will look at the transcript. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, go ahead, publish that live. And then once it's published live, you'll see that that celebrity will do the heart, favorite, retweet, share, all that good stuff, right? So to hear of a situation like this, and I was amazed because even on our own Facebook page, we had a couple of people that had bit this apple. I mean, they took a nice bite of this apple. We had one guy, I'm not going to embarrass him by putting his name out there, but we had one guy. Let's see, I'm gonna load up the comments right now. I'm looking at it right now here. I just gotta load it up here. Well, so one guy, like I said, I'm not gonna mention his name because I don't want to embarrass the dude, but one guy has said he pussed out. And another guy said he was probably threatened. They've worked hard creating the culture of the victim Olympics. Manufactured outrage causes emotional responses that disregard facts. This is a couple of days before that damn article had ended up becoming a 404. So I said to both of these guys, I said, I said, look, one of the most polarizing figures in entertainment, owns his own company, makes business deals left and right, has been outspoken about the political climate currently, is all of a sudden gonna backtrack on an interview? I've broken my news from time to time and can tell you, sadly, there are people who will make up shit just to get clicks. And you guys will remember this next part because I had set this on the Facebook page. You really should be following the Facebook page. I do a lot of interacting over there and posting. Had Shawn Michaels on my show a few years back. I asked him about possibly working a Triple H retirement match if Hunter asked him. HBK basically said him and Hunter haven't had any talks like that, but he'd be more than happy to help his friend if possible. Some stupid website took that, twisted it to Shawn revealed he and Hunter hardly talk anymore, as there's currently a rift between he, the WWE, and the McMahons. I went on to say, believe what you want, but Rock has a history of being outspoken. Dude creeping on 50, trying to raise a new baby girl on top of his growing family. He got better things to do than lie about something petty like that. No audio, no video, and now you see where we are right now, just a couple of days later. And the fact that these guys have not issued an apology whatsoever, it really makes them look really bad. And I think at one point I might have tweeted at Daily Star. I think I might have said something along the lines of, hey, you guys realize that what you did was falsified a story, right? You realize that Dwayne Johnson could, if he wanted to, take you guys to court, right? So I think that as far as, here we go again, another case of self-accountability being lost in translation. It's like, okay, so you guys are quick to report these stories and all that, but when you fuck up, you don't have the balls to issue a public apology. Okay, see how it is. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to go on ahead. There was a couple of more topics I wanted to get into, but my vocals are really starting to strain right now. So I want to go on ahead. There's going to be some other topics that I'm going to be skipping. I'm going to get into these exclusively on YouTube. It's just some AEW stuff, really. That's really what it is. It's some AEW stuff, but I'll get into those on YouTube exclusively for you guys, because the way my voice is feeling right now, it's strained. I'm straining really hard to come at you guys tonight. Let's get into the awards, and then we'll pretty much wrap it up on that note. The awards will probably take us about, let me see, we got about 1 hour 17 in right now. The awards will probably take us to about maybe an hour, maybe 1 hour 40. We'll see how we do. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get into it here. And hey, by the way, if you guys are enjoying the show this week, make sure you do me a favor. Hit the heart, hit the like, all that good stuff. Really means a lot. Appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed, do subscribe so you never miss out all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. Let's jump into it, man. All right, so your 2018 Wrestling Year-End Awards. Let us start with Most Underrated Male. I've got to go with Zack Ryder. I really, really do. I got to go with Zack Ryder, and I'm going to explain the reasons why. Because here is a guy that is in the most phenomenal shape in his entire career right now. I mean, this guy is ripped. This guy looks like $1,000,000 freaking bucks. And I know that WWE, they tried what they could with Mojo Rawley, but that doesn't really seem to be doing anything. But then you look at a guy like Zack Ryder, and you're going, man, this guy is just, look at him. Had a really good internet series on YouTube, and, you know, one of the most fun, colorful characters that you will ever come across on social media. Always fun, always upbeat, always has his hands dipped into a lot of things, except when it comes to the realm of the WWE, the guy's not getting that much love. And I'm not really looking at it from the standpoint of, oh, I haven't had a Raw match and blah, blah, blah. I'm not looking at it like that. I just honestly, when I look at most underrated males, he really jumps out at me because here's a man that has conditioned himself extremely well. Whatever opportunities have been given to him behind or in front of the cameras, he has made the most out of the opportunities and has done very well for himself. He has proven you put him in a situation, you give him chicken shit, he does his very best to make chicken salad. That's it in a nutshell. And for me to continue to see Zack Ryder not be properly utilized is very frustrating. And what really sealed the deal for me was seeing Matt Riddle. Hearing the announcement of Matt Riddle being signed to the WWE and he's coming down in developmental, everything leading up to his debut. You know, sadly, I really only saw bits and pieces of Matt Riddle on the MMA scene. So I finally had my opportunity to really take him in at the last NXT event that they did, and it was, wow, this is Zack Ryder like 2.0, what the hell. And I like how the Matt Riddle kid is coming off so far, but he just screams Zack Ryder, and I can't help but go, well, damn, if there was ever a situation where bro, and I'm like, what's up with Zack Ryder? Why not have Zack Ryder and Matt Riddle team up? Is that so wrong? I mean, there is a perfect storyline in itself waiting, especially if you wanted to do a situation where you had a heel Zack Ryder go over on Matt Riddle, and you have Matt Riddle and he involved in a really good, I think they could have a really good feud. You tell that proper story just right. Oh, Zack Ryder capitalizing on, oh my God, can you just imagine the promo that Zack Ryder could cut after these two have been a team for many months and just, oh, scorching. Also bearing WWE in the process and all that. I just look at Zack Ryder and I just, wow, like Ryder, what the hell? And it's just one of those situations where I wish WWE would just go on ahead and do right by him and let him go explore other options, but leave the door open for him to come on back at any point. That's just my personal preference, but it is what it is. So, most underrated male, we covered. Most underrated female. This one, I'm sure she would appreciate this. I'm sure she really would. Casey Carlisle. Now, I had to separate my friendship from Casey Carlisle, and I had to really look at this from just strictly a business standpoint. And she was able to make the list in this category as a result. If you don't know about Casey Carlisle, now look, not all the names I'm going to be mentioning, like Casey Carlisle, are household names. I try to do a really good job in just going with the household names, the names that have constantly been in circulation for you guys across many promotions. Casey Carlisle jumps out at me because when you look at a female pro wrestler that has ranked very high in the top 20, 30 females in the PWI magazines and all that for consecutive years, you look at her dedication, her hard work that she puts in, the tireless schedule that she puts herself on, traveling the world, in particular in the States, that is. She's traveling and she's working with all of these different promotions, and she's just winning championships left and right, having really great matches. And yeah, it was great that we saw her that one time on an episode of Raw where she was one of the Rosebuds, if I'm not mistaken, for Adam Rose. And, you know, she's had a dark match here and there, but when I look at most underrated females, for me, she is one of the most underrated females because I look at her and it doesn't matter if she's 36 or 37, she would be able to contribute so much to a promotion like Impact, to a promotion like ROH for their Women of Honor. She definitely would contribute a nice little bit to the next Mae Young Classic. I personally feel. I don't really know, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying this. I don't really know if she would be part of that WWE cloth because of her age, which really is not that. I mean, especially when you look at somebody like Mickie James, right? Okay, enhancement talent. All right, cool. But this late in the game, you know, sadly, the reality is NXT, the main roster, it just would not be an option. But those other promotions I mentioned, yeah, they sure would. Hell, maybe even a promotion like AEW would possibly be an option as well. But when I look at consistency, when I look at dedication, when I look at excellent work, in-ring work, all that, all the above, the charisma, all that, she embodies that. She continues to embody that, and she has just gotten better and better with time. So Casey Carlisle, that's the nod I got to give to her. That's my most underrated female. Breakout star, male, I got to give it up to Mustafa Ali. He's really tearing it up with 205 Live. And we see how everything pretty much had culminated for him. Now he's part of SmackDown. And I love how this young kid has been able to take to the scene and his metamorphosis. It has been a very interesting one. And I remember watching him from the Cruiserweight Championship tournament and just, wow, this kid really seems like he's got something going here. Okay. He's showing me a little something. I need to see a little bit more. And this was before he found the cool get up and the music. And, you know, he's really been doing a fantastic job, a good, fantastic job in breaking out. Definitely, when you hear constantly how he was the heartbeat of 205 Live, he really was. You got to go back to that time period where they had lost Enzo Amore, and you're kind of going, okay, so what's next? No more Enzo. And then we went through that period where it was, you know, Cedric Alexander, you know, Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali, and, you know, all of those guys, they picked up the ball at a really good, appropriate time. They stepped up. And I tell you, they've been representing. But for Mustafa out of that pack, for him to come out and be looked at more than just 205. You know, now you got him running with the Daniel Bryans. And from what we had saw of him tonight on SmackDown, he's going to be on a phenomenal program with Samoa Joe. You know that's going to be a fantastic matchup. This guy has such a unique style. He's got the right type of build where he can work with a heavyweight. He can work with someone light heavyweight, junior heavyweight. I like this. I like this. This kid, he's got a bright future ahead of him. And I definitely would say if you haven't been paying close attention to him just yet, you need to start. My breakout star female of the year. This is a tie. This was not easy for me. This was really difficult. I really had a hard time just going with one. So for me, it's a tie. First one, I got to give it up to Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair. My God. That girl, ever since she has come to the scene, she has just been dominating with flair. I mean, she is brash. She is sassy. She is arrogant. I love all that. I'm telling you. And then the insult to injury. Just the fact that not only does she beat you, but she's whipping your ass, literally, with her braided hair. Because she's using it as a whip. You know, hair whip to the side. Just her charisma, the entire package, everything about her. Great kid. Great kid. Bright future ahead of her. She's going to do phenomenal whenever she gets the call up to the main roster. And you see, week by week, I mean, it's just gotten to that point. You turn on NXT, you hear that she's on, almost like Velveteen Dream. You just kick on back, enjoy. You know it's going to be entertaining, right? You know you're going to have a good time when you see her on your screen. So Bianca Belair, really, keep it up. Keep it up, sister. Really love what you've been doing. this is where the tie comes in, because she's sharing that nod with Impact Wrestling's Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace, it was really hard for me to ignore Jordynne Grace, because within the last 7 months, she's really picked up steam, almost at about the same time of Bianca Belair, when you just look at the start of 2018 and you go forward. Jordynne Grace has really, of all the female talents, all the promotions throughout them all, of all the promotions, she's the one I really home in on the most. She has a unique look to her. And the best way I can describe that look, I mean, she's got a little bit of Rhino meets Chyna meets Scott Steiner rolled into one, but now mix a little bit of that with maybe, I don't know, maybe mix a little bit of that with Melina. Maybe a little bit of Melina, because she's got a cuteness to her and all that as well. So you just take all that, have yourself a nice cocktail mix, and boom, you get Jordynne Grace. And, one thing that she needs to work on a little bit more, and I hope she doesn't take this personal, but one thing that she needs to work on just a little bit more is the promos. That's it. She just needs to work on the promos a little bit more. She's got the look down. She's got the size, all that. She's got the intimidating factor when she's coming in that ring and she's taking on her opponents, all that. She's doing all that phenomenally well. But the one thing that needs just a little bit more work is the promos. Now, Bianca Belair has a slight edge when it comes to the promos over Jordynne Grace. But I feel very confident that Jordynne Grace, in due time, I mean, she is a hot commodity right now. I mean, on top of Jordynne Grace working in Impact Wrestling, she's constantly on the road, working with other promotions, winning titles left and right. I know she's getting ready to work for the House of Glory promotion. So, I mean, she's going places. She is going places. So, congrats to both of you ladies. Best promos. I got to give it up to my man, The Miz. Miz is still going out there. All of 2018, Miz has been going out there, and he has just been hitting some really good, consistent, reliable, entertaining, engaging promos. I got to give it up to Miz. He is still the man. And that was kind of hard for me, because I kind of had to really take a step back and just really look at, okay, who's really bringing it? Who's really bringing it on the mic and bringing it on the mic consistently? And Miz still stands out. Worst promos? Nia Jax. Nia Jax. Good God almighty, Nia Jax. I don't like having her on this list, but I gotta be honest, whenever she opens her mouth, I just cringe every time. I cringe, because a lot of the stuff that she says, half the damn time there's no emotion in it. Half the damn time it sounds like she's remembering a damn script, and the script don't sound good. Is how I go whenever I hear her promos. I gotta be honest. Don't like her promos one little bit. That is got, I remember when I first saw Nia Jax, I thought that the way that they were going to build up Nia Jax, don't let her talk. Just let her come out there, beat the living shit out of women left and right. That's it. Let her go several months without talking. And then when you finally do let her talk, let it be short and simple. She's getting ready to come out, challenge somebody for the title. You, me, Backlash, title. That's it. Just let it be short and sweet. But man, the more and more that they let her talk, that is not one of her bright spots. It's not. And the fact that she has been on the main roster a couple of years now and the promos have not gotten any better, I'm sorry, but screaming into a microphone, that doesn't do anything for me. That does nothing for me. I need to see, I need to hear passion, I need to have some type of a connection, and I'm just not feeling that. And that's the thing, when you look at girls like Bayley, when you look at girls like Sasha Banks, and they cut their promos, Mickie James to a degree, when she cuts her promos, you can pretty much just look at just a small handful of the women. Hell, we had Lita and Trish Stratus come out, and they could still, a little rusty, but they could still hang better than Nia Jax. When I just look at all the girls, Nia Jax, yeah, queen of worst promos. Most charismatic, I gotta go with Impact Wrestling's Killer Kross. Been eyeing this guy for some months, and he has been creeping up on me really, really slow. And I tell you, I love what is going on with this Killer Kross guy. This Killer Kross guy, he comes out in these black shades, comes out in a nice black long sleeve shirt sometimes with a black tie, black leather jacket, just all black. And you're looking at him, and he's got like this hitman, murderer type of psycho killer vibe that's going on. And I tell you, whenever he takes off his shades, or maybe he's just cutting a promo, you look in his eyes, and he has this intensity. He has this thing in his eyes where he looks as though if you say the wrong thing to him, just the wrong thing, he is going to snap. Like maybe he is going to stab you to death with his sunglasses, with the frame part. He's just going to stab you to death, rip your eyeballs out, and saute him with onions. He just has this psychotic look in his eyes, like he's getting ready to break. And then the mind games that he plays on his opponents. That's the other thing that I like about this guy. Another thing I like, he reminds me a lot of a young Dave Bautista. The kid's only 33. Reminds me of Dave Bautista during the Leviathan era, if you will. And yeah, I like this guy. And his wrestling ability, when he's in the ring, very unorthodox. He has a little bit of, he comes off like a strike MMA kind of guy. So of a very unique moveset that he has. And I tell you, he's one of the saving graces of Impact Wrestling. There's a handful of saving graces for Impact Wrestling when you look at the current talent that they have on their roster. But that guy, as far as charisma goes, charismatic, like as soon as you turn on your TV, it's a situation where, hey, what's this guy about? This guy looks pretty badass. Let's see how he sounds. And he sounds like a damn killer as well. So love him. Good dude. I like him more than the guy that they had. Who was the guy that they had in Impact Wrestling that eventually was friends with Gunner? Oh, I can't think of his name right now. And then he had Christy Hemme come over his place. And it turned out he had a shrine of Christy Hemme. Photos, piece of her hair, the whole 9 yards. Killer Kross almost reminds me of that guy that I'm describing, but 10 times better. I wish I could remember that guy's name. I wonder if he's even still wrestling. I remember for a hot second he was doing a little something on the independents, but I haven't really heard anything about him since. If anybody wants to jog my memory in the Discord chat, go for it. Or get at me on Twitter. I can't remember the guy's name, and that's going to bother me now. It was Gunner, Rich Swann. No, not Rich Swann. Gunner, Christy Hemme. Oh, God. I wonder what happens if I say Gunner versus Psycho. Let me see what happens. Yeah. It's not coming up, sadly. That sucks. Well, wait a minute. I'll tell you how we can figure it out. Because, see, that's going to bother me now until, like, next week's show. So I want to just figure it out now. And as soon as I see the name, I'm going to be like, son of a bitch, why didn't I think of that name? Alright, so let's look at him. Okay, so, yeah, we remember that. You remember that? Okay, so let's look at 2014 to 2015. Samuel Shaw. I would have never remembered that. Samuel Shaw. That's who the guy was. Yeah, Samuel Shaw. All right, next up we have Most Promising. Somebody you need to keep your eyes on. Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace is Most Promising. So if you're keeping tabs right now, Breakout Star of the Year, and then Most Promising. Most Promising, definitely Jordan Grace. Got to give it up to her. Really like what I've been seeing from her. Best Promotion. I got to give the nod to New Japan Pro Wrestling for the simple fact, with the injection of Cody and the Young Bucks just continuing their dominance, doing the whole elite, just everything. And then Chris Jericho coming in. I mean, we never thought we were going to see Chris Jericho anywhere else but the WWE, but he shocked the entire world when he went over to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Just when you combine all of those things, boys and girls, more people flocked over to getting a New Japan Pro Wrestling subscription than ever before. All of those names that I had mentioned, Jericho really being the one that put even more eyes on the product. And then the phenomenal show that New Japan Pro Wrestling had when they did the G1 San Francisco special, Mark Cuban being able to air that live on Access TV and everything. Also looking at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Access TV shows, where now our new English color commentators, it's Kevin Kelly, I believe Don Callis, a couple of others, I'm not really sure just yet, but don't quote me on that. You know, I got to say, overall, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they had a phenomenal year as far as an injection of not just new blood, but just continuing on in dominance on the path that they were on, that they set upon in 2017. It's like they all just upped it even more in 2018. So for best promotion, at least for this year, I got to give it up to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, this next category, this is an interesting one. Because we just talked about best promotion. Worst promotion, I got to give it up to Impact Wrestling, but not for the reasons that you all are thinking. Worst promotion, Impact Wrestling winning this award for me, it is because here we are again. They're moving to a fourth network. A fourth network in just a handful of years. And I know to a certain extent it's not all Impact Wrestling's fault. It's not Anthem Wrestling's fault. But at the end of the day, if it ain't making dollars, then it don't make that common sense. That good common sense, right? S-E-N-S-E, right? That good common sense. And for me, I understand that the demographics, the numbers and all that on Pop TV, we went over that a couple of weeks ago on the show. But the fact that no other TV deals were available, the fact that they had to go to the, the Pursuit channel. And check this out, just to give you guys a little bit of Impact Wrestling news. It's so bad. The premiere episode of Impact on the Pursuit channel, it's so bad that for the first time, probably in its history, Impact Wrestling did not make the top 150 cable TV shows for Friday night. That's how bad it is. All the wrestling websites are reporting that numbers are so low that not only did it make the top 150, but the numbers are so low that it's not being reported. And they're already anticipating that at this rate, especially given the fact that not everybody has access to this particular channel, it could be either extremely difficult to obtain the numbers since they're not in the top 150, to they just will never be able to get a hold of those numbers, right? That's crazy when you just stop and you hear that, right? But for me, they're getting the worst promotion award because of the fact that they have left Pop TV. I just want to make sure we stress that. It has nothing to do with the storytelling. It has nothing to do with the talent, although there are some there are people on that roster I personally would love to see be gone. We'll actually get into that later on during the show. But for worst promotion, I got to give it up to Impact Wrestling. Now, at the same time, keeping in mind that I said worst promotion, Impact Wrestling, because of the deal, they are now on Pursuit. And look, I really hope that what they're doing on Twitch and all that, I really hope that helps them with their numbers overall. I really do. Now, most improved promotion. Again, most improved promotion. Impact Wrestling wins that. I confused the fuck out of you guys, right? So again, Impact Wrestling, they get the worst promotion award because of the TV deal. All right? They get the most improved because of all the great stuff that Don Callis, Anthem, they've just been continuing to be able to do. Ever since they broke away from Jeff Jarrett, I've said it time and time again on this show, Impact Wrestling, they have had growing pains. Growing pains in management, growing pains with their roster, people leaving left and right, and they have just been able to weather out the storm. You've got great talents like Eli Drake, Jordan Grace, Winter is now back, Rosemary just came back from injury, you've got Johnny Impact, you've got Brian Cage, Rich Swann, Willie Mack, The Draw, Sami Callihan. I mean, there are so many great pieces of talent that's on that roster right now. And overall, it's really helped shape up the product. And we got a little bit of a taste of what we can expect when Impact was getting ready to make the move on Pursuit, as a lot of the story arcs that they're going into now, you know, it's more mature. It is more aimed towards young adults, right? I mean, my God, when you think about the spot where LAX was feuding with the OGs, and you had that one episode where I believe it was LAX, they're chilling with their friends or whatever, you know, just having some drinks, enjoying themselves, and then OGs come by doing the damn drive-by, and the little kid gets ran over or whatever. I mean, that was some dark, heavy shit, and everybody's wondering, is the kid okay? Is that little kid okay? Yeah, the little kid was okay, because when you saw how he was laying on the ground, he was laying down like he just finished having his fucking graham crackers, and he just wanted to sleep it off or whatever. You know, there's a whole lot of really good promising. You got Abyss now working in the back. Tommy Dreamer's helping out at a certain to a certain degree. There's a lot of things to be upbeat about when you look at Impact Wrestling. Also, they teamed up with Chris Jericho, hooking up with him and his crews. No doubt that's probably going to be happening once again. But I mean, just the addition of Scott D'Amore and Don Callis, it's really been helping take Impact into a better direction. So I can't wait to see what 2019 is going to be bringing for the promotion. Tag Team of the Year, me personally, without question, Young Bucks. I give it up to them, Young Bucks. Male Superstar of the Year, this one was easy for me, even though he lost the title to pretty much wrap up 2018. I pretty much still have to give the nod to him. AJ Styles. AJ Styles dominated week in, week out, great matches. Yeah, hands down, AJ Styles. I gotta give it up to him. Female Superstar of the Year, I gotta give it up to Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard, for me, and I know some people are like, well, what about Becky Lynch? Well, Becky Lynch, she really did not start to get hot until kind of last couple of months of the year, sadly. So Tessa, though, she's always been very, very consistent. She's got the charisma down. She's got the in-ring work down. I love that swag. Girl got mean fucking swag. And I tell you, she is a beast when she's in that ring. For a young girl that's only in her 20s and she's able to go out there, and the way she's wrestling like a goddamn veteran. she wrestles like a veteran, and she also wrestles like a girl that's got a serious chip on her shoulders. That's how she wrestles. And this girl is just in high demand, much like with Jordan Grace, just tearing it up. All the other wrestling promotions, girl so damn hot. This Friday, going to be making her premiere on the new Women of Wrestling TV show. It's going to be on Access TV. I'm excited for that. I'm looking forward to watching that and seeing what she does on there. And yeah, that's going to be some really good stuff. I can't help but wonder, well, what's going to happen with her now that Impact is on pursuit? Are they getting ready to phase her out? Because she put a tweet out there. I would like to believe they're getting ready to phase her out, because she put a tweet out there shortly after she had lost the Knockouts title to Taya Valkyrie. She said, Impact Wrestling, I'll be back. So you can't help but wonder, okay, well, with what they had did at the Homecoming pay-per-view, and they taped their shows, if they're getting ready to write her out for now, what's going on. So we'll have a better idea when the weeks progress. But when I just look at pretty much dominance for all of 2018, Tessa Blanchard really, I tell you, if I'm Impact Wrestling and I'm able to continue to, and you know what, I want to say, I think it's a situation where Tessa will probably just be off a few episodes of Impact, and then once WoW is maybe over, I don't know, whatever her term is with them, maybe it'll end. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to rely on you guys, but if I'm not mistaken, I remember when Impact Wrestling, they had this period where after about a certain amount of months, they made these announcements that, oh, this person signed a multi-year deal. Oh, we've come to a new agreement with... And I remember Tessa Blanchard being one of those people that they had came to a long-term contract with her. Now, long-term, that could be 3 years. That could be 5 years. So, again, that's one we need to be paying attention to in Impact for the rest of 2019. I would say going up through March, we should have a really good idea what's going on with her. Is Impact going to allow her to basically work both shows, and she's, ultimately champion for both promotions, or what? How are they going to do that? We'll have to wait and see how they do that. But Tessa Blanchard, she gets the nod for Female Superstar of the Year. I was pretty close to giving the nod to Charlotte, but I felt Tessa personally edged out there. Worst moment of 2018. I got to give that nod to WrestleMania 2018, when Braun Strowman and 11-year-old Nicholas had won the tag team titles. I was on this very show just minutes after WrestleMania 2018 wrapped up, and I was on this very show, and I took a massive shit over that moment. I talked about how, hey, well, you should have had that young black kid that was sick and all that, and he was tearing it up, cutting the promos and all that. Night before at the WWE Hall of Fame, you should have had little Jarvis out there with Braun Strowman. That would have made more sense. And I told you guys my initial thoughts. I remember on that show vividly, I said, if it was a situation where this Nicholas kid, if he's sick or whatever, okay, I'm fine with that. But for this kid to get that nod, and then we learned it was the referee's kid and that there was nothing wrong with Nick. Wait, what? And again, we all couldn't help but go, well, what about Jarvis? So for me, when I look at worst moment of 2018, I've got to go with Braun Strowman and Nicholas winning those tag team titles for Raw, wasn't it? Yeah. Greatest moment of 2018. You guys, you may not like this one. This could be a little bit controversial for some of you guys, but I had to go with it because it's all about looking back, year in review, and pretty much going from there. I've got to look at, for 2018, the moment Roman Reigns became Joe Anoa'i, and he announced that he had leukemia. I mean, this was the night when you go back and you play it in your mind. There's not really too many moments in wrestling, especially when you're looking at a long-running series like Raw and Smackdown, there's not too many shows where you can kick back and say, I remember where I was this very night on this date when this particular episode had went down. I remember what I was doing. I remember how I felt. And so many of us can recall that moment when Roman Reigns had made that announcement. I remember how I was at the edge of my seat and how he pretty much had said, hey, I'm not talking to you as Roman Reigns. My name is Joe. My name is Joe Anoa. And you go, wait, oh shit, something's not right. What's he getting ready to tell us here? And when he dropped that bomb, all you wanted to do at that point, it didn't matter if you were a man, a woman, a kid. All you wanted to do at that point, once he made the announcement, was give the guy a hug and tell him, hey man, Godspeed. Do what you got to do. Kick its ass. And that was the night that everybody finally, when you really stop and think about it, that was the night that everybody collectively finally came on over and cheered this guy on. But it was really because of Joe, not Roman. And I remember when we did the RCWR show for that week, I think I titled it something like the night Roman Reigns finally won the fans over, because he finally did. But it came at a price. That was the other thing. It came at such a heavy price. Lot of emotions, a lot of support coming at this man on social media. By the way, he recently has shared a picture of himself working out. He was with a buddy. He looks pretty good. Looks to be jacked. Beard's a lot thicker. Still has his hair. Looks like it's, I don't know what's going on with the hair. It looks like it might be pulled back in a ponytail. I'm not really sure right now. Contrary to some reports, some people thought that he cut his hair. It doesn't look like he did. But for me, that's the moment I got to go with for greatest moment of 2018. Best match of the year. I got to go with NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4, last man standing match, Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. That match was fucking sick. That match was fucking sick. That was a killer matchup. I mean, the most fantastic storytelling I've come across in a match in recent memory. That match needs to be part of a Crash Course 101 series. Seriously, you got to go back. It's a riveting story that those two guys had told. And I mean, we could watch those guys every fucking month. I mean, those guys, you want to talk about rivalries. You know how they have that rivalry series on the WWE network? They got the Trish Stratus, Lita, Stone Cold, McMahon. They really need to put Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano in that series as well. Worst match of the year. I've got to go with 2018's Crown Jewel. DX taking on the Brothers of Destruction. I get it, man. Shawn Michaels came back for a payday. Who wouldn't come back for a payday? I mean, come on, payday, get to it. Who wouldn't come back for that? But that match was just the drizzles. There were so many botched spots. There were so many miscues. Accidents almost getting ready to happen. There was just, nothing was really clicking with that matchup. Damn, I still remember the one spot where Triple H was doing okay, and then all of a sudden he had that spot where he bruised himself really, really bad. He was out of the equation for a little bit, because when you go back and you look at that match, your in-ring generals, it was Triple H, it was Kane, and they pretty much were doing most of the work trying to protect Shawn and Undertaker. But man, once Triple H was out of the equation, Shawn did his best. I will definitely give him credit, but yeah, that match overall, it was bad on so many levels. I didn't particularly care for it. Best pay-per-view match of the year. I'm sorry, best pay-per-view of the year. Forgive me. Best pay-per-view of the year. Top to bottom, I got to give it up to NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4. That entire card, everything was killer. Just go back. If you haven't checked out any of the NXT TakeOver events, start with that one and work your way. Worst pay-per-view of the year, I got to give it up to Hell in a Cell 2018 because of the fucking finish. So it's Roman Reigns defending the title against Braun Strowman. One point, you see a scenario come about where, who was it? I think Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. This was back when they were still working together. They came out. They tried to help Braun because Braun had formed an alliance with them, basically, right? So they tried to come, but then when you had a reunited Shield, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, they come out, they even up the odds, and you're going, okay, all right, this is pretty good. This is intriguing. Like this. All right, it's rocking, it's rolling. Let's keep going. And then, some point, both guys are down. The other guys I just mentioned, they're gone. Nowhere to be found. Brock Lesnar comes out, tears the fucking steel cage door down, F5s the hell out of both guys, rolls out. Referee comes out, calls the match off, says it's a no contest because both men cannot continue. And I just thought that was the most stupidest goddamn ending that I've ever seen with regards to a Hell in a Cell match. Because normally when it comes to these Hell in a Cell matches, it's basically, hey, pinfall or submission. That's pretty much the way to go. And for it to end like that, it for me, it just overall made the pay-per-view shitty. And I remember that night. There were so many people. I still remember the poll that we did. We had polled folks asking what did they think. And I remember that was the most engaging poll that we had, as everybody, majority, I want to say it was about 80 to 85% of folks that voted. Because I think we tallied up about, God, I think when I look at Twitter, when I look at YouTube, I think grand total, we probably had about over 350 votes maybe. And it was at least 80 to 85% of folks that had said that the pay-per-view was shit. And for that particular moment alone, that's why. You're using social media right award. I thought this was a cool category to do, for the simple fact that there are some people that I see that there's only about a handful of people I follow on social media. And if you notice, one of my main outlets, Twitter, you see that I only follow like about 600 something people, and I got like 3,000 something followers. So I'm very particular about who all I follow on social media. But as far as, hey, this person's using social media right, I like them, you know. They give me something to think about. They don't get into the whole politics or anything like that. They give me something fun to read, something funny, something intriguing, something that makes me think, nothing controversial. Jordan Grace. If you have not followed Jordan Grace on Twitter, you should. She always posts some really cool, funny stuff. Love her. Get Off Social Media Award. It was a toss-up. It was a real toss-up. But I've got to give it to Sienna. I got to give it up to Sienna. Sienna, she at one point was working in Impact Wrestling, and long time she's been working in Shine and done a little something in Shimmer. I got to give her the award for the simple fact I was following her for the longest time, but I started noticing, I don't know, for some people with regards to social media, you can kind of tell when there's some people that's trying to say the right thing just to put themselves in a position where they're getting over with their fan base, and they're getting the likes, they're getting the hits, they're getting the follows. And some of the stuff that I've seen the second half of 2018, it really seems like Sienna has just gone in a, I'm just going to call it for what it's worth, a asshole mode, right? Everything has to be sexist. Everything has to be, oh, well, you know, women have a vagina and we're stinky, but men having big dicks, high five. You know, she's kind of like going in that direction. And I don't think it's as always as that clear cut as she's making it out to be. You know, that's not the narrative a lot of the times that's being put out there in some of the headlines that you may hear about, but you wouldn't know that with the way that she tries to spin things. And when it's a situation where she comes across somebody that tries to explain to her eloquently, no, you got it all wrong. It's not that way at all. It's actually, she's one of those type of people that also, with regards to self-accountability, or, well, your opinion doesn't matter because you're a man, I'm right, you're wrong. And I don't like people like that. I really don't like people like that. So as far as the Get Off Social Media award, she's definitely the one I would like to see take a hike, go into the Phantom Zone. Most engaging on social media, this was a toss-up because it was going to be Jordynne Grace sharing this award. Jordynne Grace got taken out of the equation because she no longer is interacting with folks via direct messages. She was one of the most engaging wrestling personalities you would ever come across on social media, because if you were tweeting at her something cool or you sent her something funny, direct message, she would interact, but at the same time she would be bombarded with so many messages that it would take her days or whatever to get through the stuff. But she always, not just only in direct messages, but also out in the open, she would interact with folks back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And sadly, she kind of got disqualified once she disabled the direct messaging. And it's understandable why, because sadly, it got to that point where people were saying very crude things that were not humorous, and a lot of racist stuff, all that crap. And you felt bad for her, but sometimes that's the nature of the beast that you deal with when you're a celebrity like that. It's all about just, okay, mute and block, keep it moving along. But most engaging on social media, somebody that honestly, no matter how you come at him, he just keeps interacting. I've got to give the nod to Cody Rhodes. I know Cody Rhodes has rubbed a few people the wrong way. He's definitely rubbed my boys over at Soup the wrong way. But I'm looking at things from a fair-minded standpoint, which is Cody Rhodes, multiple times, he will find himself at an airport or a couple of hours from a wrestling event. He'll do a Q&A. If he's not doing a Q&A, he's posting some really cool stuff on his dog Pharaoh, or showing what's going on with him at home with his lovely wife Brandy. I like the envelope he got the other day where he got an invitation for Mortal Kombat or something like that. I guess there was a world trailer or something that they were doing. But I like the fact that every time I turn around, Cody always interacts with people. I've seen Cody be involved in some really heated exchanges, and as far as I know, he doesn't block them. He just keeps rolling with it, and I've had my share of interacting with him. Not really that much, probably maybe 2-3 times. Only one of those times I could remember vividly what it was I had asked him. I think that was a Q&A thing. But every time I turn around, again, I'm only following but a handful of people. And for the most part, the one person that keeps jumping out to me as far as most engaging on social media, I would have to say Cody Rhodes. If I could come up with a distant second and third place, second place, I would definitely give the nod to Jordynne Grace. Third, I would actually give it up to Hurricane Helms. Hurricane always posts some really cool stuff. And the thing that I love about Hurricane's usually talking about comic books. So I love just randomly seeing him say, hey, what was your favorite comic book in this particular year and why, and all that cool stuff. So congrats to those guys. Best color commentator, Mauro Ranallo. Got to give it up to him, Mauro Ranallo. Hands down. Worst color commentator. Hate to do this, but he really didn't offer me anything. Some people may feel different about this, but I got to give it to Josh Barnett. And from what I understand, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they're going to have a different English color commentating team. And Josh Barnett, for me, he really was not bringing any substance. A lot of times he would mess up names, and there would be so much awkwardness going on between him and JR on the color commentating. JR would try to lead Josh in one direction, and a lot of times Barnett just would not gravitate towards it, latch onto it, and run with that bad boy. It was almost like pulling fucking teeth. Sometimes, a lot of times, I would have to just mute my TV or just have some music playing on the background whenever I would watch New Japan Pro Wrestling on Access, and that way I didn't really have to pay attention to what Josh was saying. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. Off to a great start. I got to give that to Matt Riddle for everything that's been happening with him coming to developmental, everything leading up to him making his NXT debut. He's done pretty damn good so far. So he's living up to the hype. He's really living up to the hype. Off to a bad start. Now, see, she came to the main roster late 2017, but she basically had a full year going up into 2018, December of 2018. And I feel that her year one, off to a bad start. I'm hoping 2019 sees things going in a different direction for her. And that's Sarah Logan. I'm sorry, but when I look at the Riot Squad, Ruby, yes, she is the glue that holds that together. Without her, them two girls are nothing. But just for the sake of the argument, if I were to separate the girls, we already know Ruby would thrive on her own. Liv Morgan, to a certain degree, I really feel as though under the right tooling, she would do okay. I really do legitimately think she would do okay for herself. But when I look at Sarah Logan, there's nothing. And I know some people are like, oh, but the Crazy Mary, and well, maybe that's what needs to happen in the WWE world. Some type of incarnation of that, right? But right now, Sarah Logan is one of the most blandest characters, to the point I don't even know what the fuck her gimmick is. Is she trying to be a Viking? Is she trying to be some, I don't know, is she being a bootleg female version of Kraven the Hunter? Classic Spider-Man villain. I don't know what's going on with her, but there's no charisma. There's nothing in the ring. It's mediocre, right? It's like nothing really stands out, sadly. So I don't like saying that, but I gotta speak the truth. She's off to a bad start as far as I'm concerned. We've got the Please Come Back Already award and the For One Night Only award. I've got to give both of those to CM Punk. Although the way it's looking right now, it ain't happening. I'm sure you guys probably had heard the news by now, but CM Punk, supposedly, this is according to Dave Meltzer, apparently AEW, one of their representatives tried to reach out to CM Punk, see if they could get him to come on and help them out, and he's not interested. And it's just a situation now where he's at a phase in his life where he doesn't need wrestling. And I mean, look, man, I know there's a lot of us that would love to see CM Punk come back for one more match, myself included, even if it's just for one night. But when you're really being realistic, you can't help but go, okay, well, if he did not come back for the All In event to do the proper swan song, then the odds of him coming back is very, very slim. And if it's true that representatives from AEW tried to reach out to him and he shot them down, wow. So here's a billionaire that came in here and basically said, here's a blank check, write your amount. And for Punk to turn that down, that lets you know he's really in a different phase in his life right now. And it may be hard for a lot of people to move on from that. Some people can feel however they want to feel. Some people can look at that and they can say he's being a dick, but you know, when you've been burned so many times and when you just reach that level of, okay, I've had it, I'm done, yeah, should he be given promotions like AEW, New Japan, ROH? Should he give them a chance? Because after all, they didn't do him wrong. It was the WWE that did him wrong. So if he's going to come back, just don't do it with the WWE. Yeah, I could totally understand that mindset. But if overall the industry, just the inner workings, as far as the management and all that inside, right? Those mechanics. If all of that has left him with a bitter taste in his mouth, and the only thing he's willing to do at this point is, yeah, I'll meet my fans. I'll meet them at comic conventions, things of that nature. I'll do autograph signings, blah this and blah that. You know, that's his prerogative. I think it was interesting, and I talked about this on social media. I never did talk about it on the show, but Pro Wrestling Tees, they did a top 10 merchandise pushers for 2018, and CM Punk was, if I'm not mistaken, at number 10. I forgot who number 1 was, but number 10 was CM Punk, and I'm going, wow, for a guy that's been removed like practically 5 years from the business, that's pretty good that he's still in the top 10 on Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm curious where he's going to be standing once 2019 is over with. Is he still going to be in the top 10? Or is he going to be outside of that? Just kind of, I don't know, maybe lurking at number 12 or whatnot. Most disappointed, Big E. I got to go with Big E. I know it's not all on him, but I'm most disappointed in Big E because I've patiently been waiting for that opportunity where Big E can finally have a singles run. And we can see what this guy can do, not just as an Intercontinental U.S. champion, but also as a world champion. I've been waiting patiently to see it, and I don't want to see a scenario come about where he breaks away from New Day, but I would love to just see, because I mean, think about it. When Ric Flair had won one of many World Heavyweight Championships, he was with the Four Horsemen, and you know, you saw how that panned out. So, Shawn Michaels, DX, you know, the support was always there. Then when it was Triple H, the Triple H show, as many of us had called it, and he still had his pack running around. So, I mean, nothing would be wrong with Big E eventually becoming the champion and still have the New Day supporting him. He's got the charisma, he's got the size, he's got everything that you would want, and it just sucks to still see this guy in this same position. I just feel that New Day is growing a little bit stale, and it seems like it needs a new shot of adrenaline. And for me, it just really comes off now more than ever. That next phase needs to be, well, all right, let's see what Big E can do as a singles guy. Yeah, the last go round when he had the singles run, it really wasn't that impressive, but now that he's had some years to gel off of Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, let's see what he can do this go round. I think the company owes itself another opportunity to see what he can do this go round. Let's have a beer. Hands down, Eric Bischoff. If there's one guy I'd love to just kick back, talk about the business, talk about entrepreneurship, talk about the AWA days, all that. I got to go with Eric Bischoff. And it makes me so happy to get to listen to him and Conrad Thompson on 83 Weeks, and Eric going through certain periods, whether it's AWA, WCW, when he made his debut in the WWE, and all that. It's great to hear him just recall memory and go down that whole memory lane there. I love all that, but if there's one guy I'd love to have a beer with, Eric Bischoff is that guy. Would love to talk to him about all things wrestling, like I said, entrepreneurship, starting your own business. I would also like to pick his brain on music, pick his brain on classic rock, pick his brain on some country, all that good stuff, because I'm into a lot of that stuff. Let's have Starbucks and see a movie. Rosemary. There is something about Rosemary I love. I want, in a perfect world, I would love for Rosemary to do like one of my favorite Judas Priest songs, and just a touch of evil. I would love to just have Rosemary touch me with a little bit of evil. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. This is for our male. Yes, that's the award, folks. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Basically, you're fired. The Desi Hit Squad. They do nothing for me whatsoever. Every time I see those Singh brothers, and no, I'm not talking about WWE Singh brothers. There is Impact Wrestling. They've got their own Singh brothers, and they're part of this thing called the Desi Hit Squad with this old man that comes out, and every time I cringe. I didn't like them whenever they popped up, and I saw them on my TV early 2018, or all the way up to when they made their premiere on Pursuit last week. I can't stand the Desi Hit Squad. They offer nothing. Well, you know what? No, they do offer me something. They offer me an opportunity to go take a piss or a dump or go walk my dog, go wash the dishes, check on laundry. They give me an opportunity to go refresh for a little bit. Yeah, I can't stand them. They don't offer me nothing. Now, the Falabala, the big heavyweight Samoan looking dude, I can work with that. I can definitely work with that. Desi Hit Squad, no. Pink slip. All three of them guys, pink slip. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Female. Dana Brooke. Sorry. Dana, love you, hun. I know you lost your man, but you seem to be recovering okay now. You got yourself a new man. You made it through the holidays okay, and that's fine. But you don't offer anything. One of the worst female, I get what they saw in her when they hired her initially. I do get it. I understand it. But the experiment has run its course. It has. Why continue to have her take up these spots on the roster when you've got a plethora of talent down at the Performance Center that is just waiting, biting, drooling at the bit of an opportunity to show that, hey, we got what it takes. Just need an opportunity. And Dana Brooke has had more than one opportunity as far as I'm concerned. So for me, nothing personal. Nothing personal. For all of these people that might have gotten an award in a fucked up category, it's nothing personal. Strictly business. That's all it is strictly business. If Dana Brooke wants to continue to be a wrestler, God bless her. She can continue to do that on the free agency market. She may have her 15 minutes of fame doing shoot interviews and doing the run on podcasts and all that, but after that, she's pretty much over and done with. But for me, personal, silencing the critics. Last award. And then on the high note, our piece of shit award. That's the award. It is the piece of shit award. I'll let you guys imagine how that award would look. I'm gonna give it to Miss Gucci Witch, the girl that had accused Enzo Amore of raping her. Wow. How all of us were just really just, wow, this poor young girl, what the hell, oh my god, OMG, all that, right? And then her story just starts to break down within like a matter of 24 hours, and the next thing you know, by the time we reach the end of the week, all of a sudden she's got like friends left and right just, oh, nah, man, no, here's what happened. Oh, here's the receipts. Here's what she said in the text message, blah this, blah that. And her story got dissected, annihilated, disintegrated real fucking quick. You want to talk about a lying individual. You want to talk about an individual that has, what's the right word that I'm looking for? a lot of conflict of interest. You want to talk about an individual who has a history of drug problems, mental health problems, all of that. And I remember when I came on this show and I was first reacting to the news on Miss Gucci Witch. You know, hey, if it's true, hey, and it was a situation where, okay, look, we got to let this evidence play itself out. We got to see where it's going to go. But the way this is looking right now, don't look good. But then the more and more info that we all had gathered, the more that were shared, it was, wow, I'm not really feeling this. So yeah, piece of shit award. We're going to give it to Miss Gucci Witch, hands down. We're definitely going to give it to her. Other than that, that is all the categories. I think we did pretty good. We ran down all them categories pretty good. I tell you what I'm going to do, though, is we're probably going to end up putting some of these award categories, and we're going to make them be excerpts on YouTube so people can just jump right into them. And that's it, yeah. So let me know what you guys thought about those award categories. Let me know what you guys thought about those winners. You could take some of those categories and you could let me know, hey, yeah, I agree with you on your pick for this one. Or if it's a situation where you wish that maybe somebody else could have got the nod, I definitely want to hear from you guys. We will post the thread up on Facebook. I might do it. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'll probably do it first thing tomorrow on the commute to work. But I'll definitely post a thread on Facebook, all throughout social media, and you guys can let me know who you would have liked for those respective categories. You definitely will be able to comment via YouTube once the episode is available for on-demand viewing purposes. But next week's show is going to be a little bit different because I have a dentist appointment. I've got to get some x-rays done and have some pictures taken because they're trying to see if they can hook me up with some Invisalign. So next Tuesday's show, it's going to be a little different. What's going to end up happening is this coming weekend of the 19th, I'm actually going to pre-record the show, and the show will be scheduled to go live on Tuesday the 22nd. So you guys will still get it at the regular time of 10 a.m. It's just going to be a scenario where you're just getting it pre-recorded. So please make a mental note of that, because sometimes I see some people say, is this pre-recorded? Is this live? I'll try to, I did a pretty good job letting you guys know that the last show we did 2 weeks ago was pre-recorded, but I'm going to make sure that you guys are reminded a couple of times leading up to that one. So that's going to do it for now. Hey, if you like Impact Wrestling, you did not check out the return episode of Impact Showdown, check it out. It's available on demand and on the downloads right now. I believe we also have it up on YouTube as well. And do subscribe. Smash the like button. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And that is going to do it. Those of you waiting for the audio, this will sadly not be available until Wednesday night. So sorry. So sorry. So sorry for your mother. So sorry. No, I'll have it to you guys as soon as possible on Wednesday night. Patreon members, I'm actually going to sit down and record a little something for you guys as well. I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts on the Nigel Mcguinness Chasing the Magic. That really should be called Chasing the Dragon. You'll understand why when I do that for you guys. And like I said, YouTube is going to get some exclusive audio pieces. We're going to dive into some AEW news via YouTube. We'll come at you guys with that on Thursday. All right. So be safe, be kind to one another, and I will see you guys next go round. Y'all do take care, and I will catch you all next week and all that good jazz here. Hey, can I give a shout out one more time? Give a shout out to Patreon members. I also give a shout out to somebody was in the chat earlier. I do want to recognize some of the people that were interacting earlier. We had some people. Let me see here. Shout out to Cody. Shout out to Gino. Shout out to, where are you? Where are you? There's another one. I'm missing. Is that, I think, Austie? Yeah, Austie. Who's the other one? I saw Steve. Steve was trying to interact, but sadly Steve was interacting in the wrong damn chat. Yeah, you gotta do the Discord, brother. We do Discord now. Just get at me on Twitter and I'll hook you up, man. Let me see who else. That's it. So shout out to them. Also shout out to our sponsors. We got a couple new sponsors that we're going to be working with in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that. Some of you guys that may be checking out the show on the downloads, you may actually hear those guys this week. So all right, starting to rant. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all be safe, be kind to one another. I will catch you guys next go round. Do take care. Good night. Good morning.